In addition to standard form fields, you may also find a need for creating something called a radio button or a checkbox. Now, in most cases, these items are rendered by the browser by default, and so controlling the appearance of them isn't really necessary because the browser takes care of that for you. But you need a way inside of your mockup of accurately reflecting where these objects are going to go. So in this movie, I'm going to be exploring how to create these things and how to make them look as realistic as possible. So the first thing we're going to do is create a couple of radio buttons. And I'm going to do that by coming over to the tool panel and selecting the ellipse tool. And then I'm going to zoom in quite a bit and then go right down here in this blank space. And so I'm just going to create a couple of radio buttons here. It doesn't really matter what they're for right now. I'm just going to create them. So I'm going to click once. And radio buttons and checkboxes are usually between 14 to 18 pixels in width and height. They're both the same on the height and width. And so I'm going to do this a little bit on the larger side of about 20 pixels, just so that my developer can see them a little bit more. And just in case we do try to control them through CSS, the 20 pixels by 20 pixels makes them a little bit closer to being quote-unquote touch-friendly. And so I'll hit OK, and that creates this little circle for me. I'm going to grab the eyedropper tool and sample this color from the form up above. And when I click away, you can see it's just a circle right there. And I'll grab my zoom tool and zoom in right on it so you can actually see what I'm doing. And so now what I'm going to do is take this, select it, copy it, and paste it in front by using Command and Control F. And then take this copy and shrink it down quite a bit. Then I'm going to remove the stroke from the copy and add a center like this. So that's what it's going to look like when it's selected. If I zoom out, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. You've all seen these little things. They're just little things that you click on to select. And so now I'll select back on these, and I'm going to group this together. And when I get the group together, I'll copy it, paste it in front, Command and Control F, and then I'll just move it over. And so I've got another one. Then I could add in some text. So I could say mail, move that in, copy, paste it, move it over. And again, I'm just using Command and Control F to paste in front. Female. There we go. So we've got those two radio buttons created. Now let's do some checkboxes. Checkboxes are a little different because they're rendered differently in each browser. But in this case, I'm just going to come right here where they intersect. And I'm going to move it over to the right. I'm just making sure it's lined up properly. And I'll do 20 by 20 here as well. Hit OK. And then let's just move that over to the right with my arrow keys. I'll line it up with the edge of this right there. Again, I'll take my eyedropper tool with the letter I, sample the color of the form field above it, making it somewhat the same color. And then now I'm just going to create a check mark. The easiest way to do that is to grab the pen tool. And I know a lot of people are afraid of the pen tool, but it's pretty easy to work with. I'll just grab the pen tool here. I'm going to start from the center point of this, and I'll just go right above it, click, click, click to extend out a little bit. There's my check mark. I'm going to make sure it has no fill. I'm going to give it a black stroke, increase the size of the stroke quite a bit. So I'll come over to the appearance panel, something like that. There we go. And then I can kind of move that down into place. So there's my checkbox, just like so. Then I can select this. I can group it together, copy it, and paste it in front, Command and Control F, and then move that to the left a little bit. And then we could type out some more text. I could just type out existing customer, question mark, and move that down here. Copy that to the clipboard, Command and Control F to paste it in front. And then newsletter sign up. Move that just a little bit further away from that, and I may need to move these over as well. That's okay. I'll just select them and move them over. And so now, zoom back out, and I've added some checkboxes and some radio buttons here to my form design, and I could then select all of this, save it out as a new symbol to use. But for now, I would just save these individually out as individual symbols. That way I could drag and drop them out anytime I needed a radio button or a checkbox, and I could implement them into any design that I have going forward. So hopefully by now you have a better understanding of what a radio button and a checkbox is and how you can quickly mock one of those up for use in multiple projects using some pretty easy shapes and just a little bit of pen tool magic.